The Horn of Africa is once again a battleground for influence, not territory. At the heart of this contest is Somaliland, a self-declared republic, unrecognized but stable, now thrust into the spotlight by its strategic location on the Gulf of Aden. The recent Ethiopia-Somaliland Memorandum of Understanding, signed in January 2024, changed everything. Ethiopia promised recognition in exchange for naval access, directly challenging Somalia's sovereignty and redrawing the region's geopolitical map. This deal ignited a chain reaction, forcing neighbors and global powers to take sides. Somaliland, once a political afterthought, is now both a pawn and a player in a high-stakes game. Its quest for recognition has become a bargaining chip, attracting powerful partners, but also immense risk. The region's future, and the fate of the Red Sea corridor, may hinge on what happens next in Somaliland. As the struggle intensifies, Somaliland faces unprecedented pressure from all sides. Its path forward is more complicated and dangerous than ever. Eritrea and Somalia's rivalry is rooted in decades of mistrust and shifting alliances. Once adversaries, they now find common cause in countering Ethiopia's ambitions after the Ethiopia-Somaliland MoU. Eritrea quickly pledged security support to Somalia, culminating in a new alliance with Egypt, focused on defense and political cooperation. This partnership is pragmatic, a marriage of convenience to contain Ethiopia's reach. Eritrea's military training for Somali forces gives it leverage, but old suspicions linger. Both nations are vying for influence, not by redrawing borders, but by shaping the region's balance of power. Their alliance is fragile, held together by shared interests rather than trust. The durability of this bloc will depend on whether mutual threats outweigh historical grievances. For now, their united front is a direct response to Ethiopia's bold moves in Somaliland. The Horn of Africa's power dynamics are shifting rapidly, with Somaliland at the center. Somaliland's coastline is its greatest asset, and its biggest vulnerability. Overlooking the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, it controls access to one of the world's busiest maritime trade routes. The port of Berbera, modernized with UAE investment, rivals Djibouti as a logistics hub, and offers Ethiopia a lifeline to the sea. Ethiopia's dependence on Djibouti is a strategic weakness. The MoU with Somaliland was an attempt to break free. For Somalia, losing Berbera would mean conceding Somaliland's independence and vital revenue. Eritrea sees an Ethiopian naval base as a direct threat. Control over Somaliland's coast is a struggle for economic and military dominance in the Horn. The fate of Berbera could reshape the region's future. The Horn of Africa's local rivalries are magnified by global interests. The UAE backs Ethiopia and Somaliland, investing heavily in Berbera to secure trade routes and project power. Turkey and Qatar support Somalia, with Turkey providing military aid and mediating in the crisis. The Ankara Agreement, brokered by Turkey, de-escalated tensions by reaffirming Somalia's sovereignty, while promising talks on Ethiopia's sea access. Egypt, alarmed by Ethiopia's growing power, has joined forces with Eritrea and Somalia, sending military aid and forming a new alliance. Every move in Somaliland is watched and influenced by outside powers. The region has become a chessboard for international actors, each pursuing their own interests. Alliances shift quickly, making any resolution elusive. Somaliland's fate is now tied to a much larger geopolitical game. The stakes have never been higher. The real battle for Somaliland is fought in shadows, not on battlefields. Eritrea quietly builds ties with Somaliland's leaders, hoping to counter Ethiopia's influence without open conflict. Somalia uses diplomacy and international pressure, rallying support from the Arab League, African Union, Turkey, and Egypt. Both sides aim to sway Somaliland's future. One through subtle alliances, the other through isolation and appeals to unity. Somaliland's government must navigate these pressures with extreme caution. Accepting Ethiopia's support risks alienating others. Rejecting it means losing leverage for recognition. Every decision is scrutinized by powerful neighbors. The silent war for Somaliland's allegiance is as consequential as any armed conflict. One misstep could unravel decades of hard-won stability. Somaliland walks a tightrope between ambition and survival. The Ethiopia MOU brought it closer to recognition, but also to the center of a regional storm. The Ankara agreement offered a temporary pause, but the core disputes remain unresolved. Somaliland must balance its quest for statehood against the risk of deeper conflict. Its strategy: engage all sides, preserve autonomy, and avoid being drawn too far into any camp. The outcome of upcoming talks will test whether diplomacy can prevail over rivalry. Somaliland's choices will shape the Horn of Africa's future, toward integration or renewed conflict. The region's stability now depends on how Somaliland and its neighbors manage this delicate moment. Once a marginal player, Somaliland is now the key to the Red Sea's geopolitics. Its next moves will determine the fate of the entire region.